What does Trey Lance have to do for 49er fans to be happy? And this comes from a question that you had tweeted out yesterday, so I'll kind of let you run with this in a minute.
Yeah, I basically, I looked at it and I said, okay, well, if Trey Lance can be Ryan Tannehill from a throwing perspective, right? Strong arm, big bodied guy. He'd be a little bit more physically imposing. They're both 6'4", but Lance already outweighs him, and I would assume would continue to grow a little bit. And but he's more mobile. Like, would people be okay with that? And I think when people look at Tannehill, like they look at maybe the 15th best quarterback in the league, but when I look at Tannehill, I see anywhere from 10 to 12, depending. And if I add some athleticism, a little bit of size, a little bit of speed, allow him to run the read option, well, I'm looking at a perennial top 10 quarterback in this league, 8 to 10, depending on the year and who's there and whatnot. And would that be good enough? Would 49er fans be happy with that? And the consensus I got from that was no, they would not be okay with a top 10, top 8 to 10 quarterback. That, a lot of, hey, we want the guy, not a guy. And, Tannehill took way too long to develop. And if Trey takes that long, then we're never going to win a ring, that type of stuff. So it was just, I guess, not surprising to me, but kind of sobering to me that, like, in 3 years, if Lance turns out to be as good as I think he can be, there's not going to be an issue. But if he falls just short of that and is still a top 10 quarterback, people might want to try to run him out of town, and it's just crazy. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Like, for you, when you look at Lance and giving up that much capital, what does Lance have to show you? Does he have to be a top 5 guy, a top 8, top 10, just win a ring? Like, what does that look like for you? What are your thoughts on that?
Now, when I first saw your question, I wanted to disagree with you and tell you no,
Yeah.
because I wanted to argue.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, no, that using Tannehill's if he can be Ryan Tannehill, I think 49er fans will be happy if he's Ryan Tannehill plus all the stuff that he does with his legs.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tannehill, even in Miami, I think was a better quarterback than people gave him credit for.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to take Trey Lance as long as it took Tannehill to get even to that. I think he's not that far away. It's just going to take him some time. But I think if Trey Lance can turn into a top, Ryan Tannehill is a quarterback that if he was playing on the 49ers, they're probably better because the defense is so good and they've got a good running game. Obviously,
Right.
He has a good running game at Tennessee too, but he has a better defense, I think, out here. And he has better. He has really good playmakers. He'd have really good playmakers on the 49ers that do things with the ball in their hands. We'll see how Tannehill does this year, right? Because he's got two great wide receivers on his team now. So I think 49er fans would be happy with that. I think I'd be happy if he was a top 10 quarterback, especially when you consider who they've had for the last, since 2012. Really?
Right.
2013. I mean,
Yeah.
Kaepernick was okay in 2013. It was after 13 when he fell apart. So, yeah, I think Ryan Tannehill's a good comp for him.
Yeah.
Or expectation.